Just the facts, ma'am.
So let's move on to our third segment, Just the Facts. And we've got to talk about the weather. You know, they say if you can't talk about anything with somebody, you got to talk about the weather. And indeed, Texas is starting to roll out this afternoon, Thursday of the emergency winter week on February 18th, is today we're recording. And we are starting to come out. We do, most of us in Houston have power. Water is still a little weak, but we're starting to get our water back also. So we're making some progress, but part of this is to look at what happened. First of all, green energy would not have solved the situation. We had 5 consecutive days of basically no sun. We had a tiny bit of sun yesterday. We've had 3 or 4 hours today. Solar power does not work at night. It does not work unless you've got brilliant sunshine for a number of hours during the daytime. Reportedly, and there are some leftists who are claiming that this is false information, that the wind turbines in West Texas, who are thankfully on normal days producing a reasonable amount of clean energy, did freeze up. And somebody pointed out, well, they don't freeze up in Ontario. My best guess, they build different turbines in different parts of the country, and maybe they better make a better investment in turbines here so that they don't freeze up in the future. But the underlying cause of the crash was poor planning. Most of the Texas plants, like any operating machinery, and I came out of the oil patch, the refineries go down periodically. They're called turnarounds, and they take the machinery apart, clean it, put it back together. In Texas, because our peak energy demand is in the summertime for air conditioning, they take the plants down in the wintertime. Normally that would be adequate to limp along in the wintertime, but it wasn't this time. And there certainly needs to be a investigation into what happened, how it happens, and how we can do better in the future. But the operating organization is ERCOT, and I think ERCOT needs to be thoroughly investigated and updated. But a number of gas-fired plants, which is a significant source of energy, especially when wind and other sources go down, did not come about because the plants weren't properly winterized. Apparently, there are about 600 power plants in Texas. They only check 100 a year for actual winterization. Obviously, we've got to do better homework to make sure that we do not have a repeat of this dangerous situation. Sadly, and I'm sure many of you have seen this in the news, I've heard that the Texas winter emergency has been reported in the news as far away as Ireland. Thank you to my family and friends in Ireland for that coverage. And we do need to do a whole lot better job at watching things, because we did have people who got in their cars, did not open the garage door, and suffocated due to carbon monoxide poisoning. A great tragedy. Every life lost due to these sad circumstances is a life that should not have been lost under these great circumstances, under such a wealthy country as the United States. So I certainly hope that we are going to do a better job. And I again want to emphasize that this is not an issue of Republican versus Democrat. The local cities are controlled by the Democrats, the larger cities in Texas. The state is controlled by the GOP at the moment. And so the state and the localities both have significant responsibility in what happened. And I don't want to see a politicization of this sad circumstance. I want to see it fixed. And I want to see anybody of any political persuasion to get their acts together collectively and get the job done the right way. And so with that, this has been Saving America for Winter Emergency Week. As you can see, instead of a tie, I'm wearing a sweater. So I'm dressed up, but we're still going for it. And again, this is Dr. David D. Schein, author of Decline of America, 100 Years of Leadership Failures. And watch for some new books and articles from me. And as always, we appreciate your following us on social media. Take care and stay warm if you're down here in the South.